All right, we're here. This is our first live stream we have ever done for Hallmarkies podcast. Very exciting. Only took us 5 years, but we are here to talk about Christmas Con and all the fun. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner. Anne is here.
Hey, everybody.
And Megan is here.
Hi.
And Jax is here.
Hello.
Yes. So we were all at Christmas Con in Los Angeles, the first ever in Los Angeles, the second one they've done at all, correct? Yeah. So we had quite a weekend. It feels like a million years ago because I was gone for so long. I just got back today from my trip. But
you're like, I've lived 4 lifetimes since then, so we're gonna have to really dig deep to remember this.
All right, so we have the comments open. If anybody joins us live, we have the comments open, so feel free to ask your questions, your comments, and that will be fun. Yeah, this is going to be kind of casual and just chatting. We thought we'd talk a little bit about 5-year anniversary of the pod. Hope everybody gets to listen to my episode with Amber, reminiscing about the beginnings of the podcast and giving our new top 12 favorite Hallmark Christmas movies. I really enjoyed doing that. It was very fun to catch up. So I hope people enjoy it too. That came out today. But yeah, Christmas Con and Anne, you had gotten your tickets like 2 years ago, right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was the end of 2019.
Yeah.
Or like the very beginning of 2020, because it was supposed to be in the summer of 2020, but we all know what happened. So it's been pushed and pushed and pushed until finally it just happened. It was a long time coming for me and anyone who bought their ticket way back then.
Yeah. And then Megan, you're pretty new to our podcasting group, so that must have been fun for you to go to Christmas Con and everything.
It was. I've never been to a convention like that at all, so it was all new to me, and it was really, really fun.
Yeah. Well, Jax, you not only attended the con, but you were basically the MC, leading all the panels, getting everybody professional fangirl. What was that like for you?
It was so much fun. I think my only regret is that I didn't even get to see a lot of people that I wanted to see, and I only got to hang out with you guys a little bit, but at least we got to hang out because Rachel, we were saying like all the people that you think you're gonna see, it gets so busy so fast.
It's true. I mean, we'll talk more about it, but I spent most of the time in the media area. I only attended one panel. I didn't even meet Ruth Hill, and she was there, and I felt so bad after we were. I felt so bad because she was at Paul Green's booth the whole time, and I just forgot, to head over there because I was so busy. But yes, that was that. I felt bad about that. So she was super sweet about it, but that's just how busy it was that I didn't even meet Ruth Hill, and we were in the same room basically together.
But basically when you have a zone that you kind of have to stay in for whatever your job for the convention is, you don't really have an opportunity. Like you guys were doing so many interviews, right? And like you kind of have to be where they are, and Ruth had to be at her booth and I had to be at the panel, so it's like, oh, you want to hang out but you all have a job to do.
I know. It's almost like we need to do like a separate event with just us so we can like hang out and have a sleepover, and because we just couldn't do stuff like that.
I would do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, I mean, you might want to promote you're at an event right now as we're speaking, correct?
Yes, I am at Deck the Hallmark. Bramblefest is coming up this weekend, and we're recording a bunch of When Calls Hard episodes this week. But basically, like, if they can do a fest all about their podcast, why can't Hallmarkies? Why can't we do it too?
Yeah. I'm starting the gears going about that, but especially with how cheap airfare is right now. So
pick up on location.
So Friday night, Megan and I experienced lots of delays, so we weren't able to get there when we wanted. But they had a premiere of the new Lacey Chabert movie, Groundswell, and Anne got to see it. What was the event, kind of that part of the event, like, Anne?
Yeah, so it was really cool. Well, so when we got there, they were, having the red carpet for, the stars. So some people, were getting their picture taken, having some red carpet interviews, and then for all the fans or the people there, they had the Hallmark Channel rosé cans that Hallmark Channel provided for free, and then free box of popcorn for everyone, which was really nice of them to provide. For everybody. And so then before the movie, they had a Q&A with Lacey. And so she, answered some questions.
Before the movie?
Before the movie, yeah. Before the movie. So she answered a few questions about what it was like to film, what it was like to meet Hector and work with him. And then she asked her some other questions about, like, why she likes working for Hallmark, and some other, like, more general stuff like that. And about, like, the Lee Freelander, like, working with her, and so that was cool, just to kind of have a little bit of time, just her talking with, answering some questions.
Yeah.
And then they showed us all the previews for all the August movies, and then went right into the movie. No commercials or anything, of course. Just went to black every time there was going to be a commercial. But yeah, it was a cool experience to be in a room full of people who love these movies, and just hearing everyone laugh together and everyone kind of react or go like ooh, or like or, oh yeah, dump him, or like the people around you hear what they were saying, and like oh, that was a mean thing to say.
Yeah.
Like next to me, like you could hear people's commentary, and so it's like all people who love as much as you do, like in the same room. Which when we talked to Lacey, she said, that was a cool thing for her to experience, to be in a room with all the fans and hearing, the feedback that she never gets to hear. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, because she hasn't had a movie on the big screen for a long time.
Yeah.
So she hasn't had that experience for a long time. But that must have been fun. They must not have started till really late, because they was already late when they started. Wasn't it like 9:00?
Yeah, it was already late. So anybody like, on East Coast time, I mean, it was like so late for them. Like I'm sure a bunch of people didn't even come, or they left after the Q&A with Lacey because they're so exhausted. I mean, even me, like I'm like, I don't ever start a movie even at my house at 9:00. Like I like sleep. Like 8:00 is the latest I'm starting a movie. So 9:30 is like no, but I made it through.
Yeah.
And,
well,
I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah. I was gonna say we don't want to give too much away because it hasn't been released yet. But you enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, I overall enjoyed it, and I think that the fans are really going to enjoy it. I think it's a refreshing movie.
Cool. That's good. Well, before you went away to the movie, we met briefly, and this was our first time meeting. And when I saw you, I was like, I think that's Anne. It's Anne.
It was so weird because I was literally like, we were like almost in a movie moment because I was literally walking, almost about to hit the hotel door to leave to go to the screening. Yeah. Then I look over and I'm like, wait, I think that's Rachel. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's Rachel. And so we like hug and, it
was like a Hallmarkies meet cute. It was very good.
It really was. Yeah. It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah. And so Jax, you got in kind of late as well on Friday along with the rest of us?
I was in LA earlier, but like I was still I was at a different hotel. So then when I got in, it was late and I was still feeling jet lag. So I was texting you guys. You're like, oh, do you want to come over after the movie? I was like, I'm not gonna even make it to the movie, Rachel. I was like, I'm in bed. And I love Lacey and I'm super excited to watch it. I think it's on August 21st at 9.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm gonna have to wait till then.
Yeah. But it was really, I mean, you and I have met before several times. But it was very fun, like I said, to meet Anne, to meet Megan. It just, I mean, these people you talked about, we talked with for months, years in the case of Anne, and it was just a fun experience to be together. And yeah.
It's so weird for me because I always assume that everyone else has met each other. And I don't know why I assume that, because I know we're all over the country, but I get surprised every time. Like, I was even talking to the women from Suspenders Unbuttoned at Rama Drama, and I was like, wait, you guys have never met? And same with you guys. It's like, I just think of as everyone else being in one place and I guess me in another. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. Well, and because it feels that way sometimes, and you just get so comfortable over Zoom, or especially during the pandemic, it felt so comfortable. But yeah, we all finally got there on Friday, and we were pretty. I know Megan feels the same. We were pretty wiped out by the time we got there. It was a long day of travel.
Yeah, my flight got completely canceled, and I got put on another flight. Luckily, flights from San Francisco to the LA area are pretty common and short, but it was really long day of travel for not going that far for me. Like, I shouldn't have taken as long as it did.
Well, and then Megan and I had dinner at the hotel restaurant, and I have to say the Pasadena Hilton restaurant is actually pretty good, pretty tasty. It was yummy. I got a lamb burger, and you had the hummus plate.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was really good
for a hotel. Yeah.
I'm getting hungry. I will say I would not recommend the food at the Sheraton.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
It was fine. It was fine.
Well, like hotel food is it's usually pretty but this was actually, it was good. It was
I had a burger before the movie, and it was like literally one of the best burgers I've ever had. It was so good, and I was shocked. It was really good.
I was at the wrong hotel.
I know. I wish you'd been at our hotel. That would have been fun. Next time.
Next time we have to.
All right. Well, so then the next morning we were told that we should be we're going to be able to cover the red carpet at 8:30. And we didn't really know what this meant. I'd never done it before. We didn't really know. I don't know. We just didn't know. And we got there, and it was really crazy because they had this row of media, and they had us in between E! News and People Magazine.
Guys, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Were you freaking out?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel was like, look, it's the E-mic, because it has like the E. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, oh, this is like legit.
Yeah. And so Egan and Megan did the videography, photography, and I did the questions. And we were there for about 2 hours asking questions and people coming up. And
without a break?
Without a break.
Well, that's
we were
a
just
lot.
going.
I went back really quickly because it was just like one, celebrity after another. And I was glad I did my nails because I was like holding my phone, and that's what all the celebrities saw was like the back of my phone and my nails. And I wish I would have upgraded my phone, but
as long as your nails look good, you're fine.
Yeah, I was okay. Did my nails.
And we have I'll be doing some others once I have time, but we have the first video up of I tried to ask sort of the same question so that we can make videos. So the first question I asked was, how do you get in the Christmas spirit in August, to all these people? And so I put up the video of, it was my grandest achievement in editing that I've ever done. So y'all should watch it. It was really hard.
No, you did a great job.
Well, thanks. I mean, I feel like in the world of YouTube, it looks like a high schooler made it, but like for me, it was really hard. But anyway, it was fun. And did Anne and Megan, did you have a particular celebrity that you were both most excited for, but also enjoyed their kind of interview interaction the most? What about you, Anne?
Of course, I wanted to see Tyler, which she's just so down to earth. Like, there's just nobody more calm and more laid back and just kind.
Yeah.
But I liked Cameron Matheson and his energy too. And Lacey was just so sweet. I mean, she came back to talk to us, so she didn't have to do that. That was just a really nice thing that she did because she's just a really nice person. So those were some of the ones I really liked.
And it was fun to both meet people that we've gotten to know pretty well on the podcast, someone like Paul Campbell or Nikki DeLoach, Aaron Cahill, people like that. But then it was also fun to meet people that we haven't gotten to meet, like Cameron Matheson hasn't been on the pod and things like that. What about you, Megan? What was exciting for you?
I think for me, I was excited to see Sarah Drew because I've been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy. When I had COVID, that's all I did was like do a puzzle and watch Grey's Anatomy. So I was really excited to see her. And then Autumn Reeser wasn't on the red carpet. And I really wanted to find her because I wanted to tell her that like 10 years ago, we took a dance class together in LA.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, so it was like right after she was in the OC and I lived in LA at the time and I used to take dance classes at this place and she was in the elevator with me and I remember being so nervous. I didn't say anything to her at the time because, so then now like 12 years later, like, oh, we took a dance class together. She thought it was really sweet. But then after I left, I was like, oh, did I sound insane?
No.
You didn't.
We asked her how she gets in the Christmas spirit in August and she was like, I don't. And it was so funny because that Jesse Metcalf, who I think she always has such good chemistry with, he said the same thing. They both said, I don't. And then kind of laughed. And I thought, oh, well, no wonder they have such good chemistry. They like had the same answer to the question.
Yeah.
It's funny that you should say that because they talked about in their panel about how he had a crush on her. And also everyone talked in their panels about how stage kisses, or not stage kisses, but on-screen kisses, they're very, clinical and, all that stuff. And there's never any tongue. And they were both like, I'm sorry, you guys don't use tongue? And everyone was like, whoa. So clearly, like, they have a little thing.
Yeah.
That's okay. Funny. That's funny.
I love that we're all connecting the dots. We're detectives using the information that we have.
Well, I think one of my favorite answers to the how do you get the Christmas spirit in August was actually Drew Seeley, because he was just kind of like, it's hard. He was one of the only ones that was like, it's beachy outside, it's hot, it's hard. And then he's like, but when you see people with your hat, he went into my hat, and I thought that was a really fun little interview because then you guys were so good with the video to turn to me. And I don't know. I thought that was a cute moment.
That was cute. I like that he said that.
Yeah. So I guess I should ask each of us, how do we get in the Christmas spirit in August? I mean, I feel like, and a bunch of them said this, but I feel like I'm always in the Christmas spirit because I'm just always covering Christmas movies all year round. But yeah, I mean, there's just nothing like a Hallmark Christmas movie to get you in the Christmas spirit. I mean, I'm going to steal everyone's answer, I think. But what about you, Anne?
I mean, yeah, luckily we were just off of Christmas in July, so that helped. But I love Christmas music and decorations. So, those things always help me feel in the spirit.
What do you think, Megan?
Yeah, I just think the decorations. There was so many decorations there at the Christmas con and the trees. And once you walked into that, really just when you walked into the building, it was just Christmas everywhere. So you kind of get into the spirit. And it did make me want Christmas to come sooner. I was like, what? How many more? Like, when are they premiering the movies? Sometimes we say, oh, it's too early. Now I'm like, countdown.
Yeah, like Dr. Christmas brought it. He really did.
Oh, he did bring it.
Yeah. Beautiful decorations. I mean, beautifully decorated trees. Wow. I mean,
yeah.
When I first met him, I accidentally called him Mr. Christmas, and he was like, no, honey, it's Dr. Christmas.
Yeah.
What is he a doctor of?
Christmas spirit.
PhD in Christmas spirit.
PhD in Christmas spirit. Yeah. Oh my
Sure
goodness.
does.
So Jax, what about you? Or how do you get in the Christmas spirit in August?
So I didn't do this at Christmas Con, but in the past, what my thing that like keys me into to each holiday is like my favorite beverage. So I like a hot chocolate with like a candy cane in it, or sometimes a frozen hot chocolate to really get me in that like state of mind.
That's a good idea.
Any excuse to consume sugar for me.
Yes. All right. Well, I also thought it was a really fun moment as far as other kind of questions that we're asking is we're talking to Cameron Matheson and I said, how does it feel to be in a movie like Winter Wonderland, fan favorite? And he was like, what? Nobody ever talks about it. I was like, no, everyone talks. Everyone loves it. That movie. And he was like, what? And he had no idea. And he's like, did you tell Paul? I'm like, yes, we told Paul. He really didn't know that Window Wonderland was a fan favorite, which was funny. And I told him, I said, was on the screen drafts and we did our top 12 and it was, I think, number 5 or 6. So anyway, that was also a fun.
It's funny how you don't like they don't know how their work affects people or like have a misconception about ones that people really connect with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was fun, even though I felt like my questions were kind of dopey. It was fun to meet Barbara Eden and at least to have one person that like my family doesn't watch Hallmark at all and doesn't follow Hallmark and they might maybe know Lacey Chabert, but that would be about it. But when I told my parents, I met and talked to Barbara Eden, they were like, oh, she's still alive.
90.
I can't believe she's 90. That's amazing.
I know.
Yeah. But right before she came on, I like had a moment of panic, and I'm like, she's a Dream Genie, right? Not Bewitched. Like I had a moment where I was like, oh no. I was like 90% sure, but there was that like moment of doubt, and okay. So that's why I was so glad to have Anne.
You know, Rachel, that's so funny because one time when like I was on a panel with Melissa Joan Hart, I had a moment of panic and I was like, is she Sabrina the Teenage Witch or Clarissa Explains It All? And then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But you have those moments where it's such a part of your childhood, but then for a second you're like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Like what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell y'all a secret behind the scenes factoid is I write down on my spreadsheet, because I use spreadsheets for all my interview notes. I write down the full name of the person. Plus, if I can find out the phonetic, how to actually pronounce it, put that on there, because I am not kidding. Almost every interview, like 30 seconds before I'm like, who is this person's name? And I know, but I just have this like moment of panic every interview. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I've got it right there on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I felt like that with the names of the movies. Like I would say the name of the movie and then I would think, oh my God, I hope that was the right name.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie 100 times. You think I lived on the DVR for a year. You think I would. Yeah, I definitely know it. It's just you get nervous, I think.
Yeah, it's like the whole point of this podcast is to recap this movie, and I can't, like, for 30 seconds, I can't think of the name, and then it's always there, but I don't know, I just have this, like, momentary brain wipe, like, as soon as I hit the record button. But I guess it's a good thing we're normally not live, but that would be embarrassing in an interview if I was like, who am I talking to? But anyway, so Anne, you did a couple photo ops while you were there. They had like all these tables with the photo ops, and there were some people in the photo ops that were not on the red carpet, like you were saying with Autumn and Mario Lopez and people like that. So which photo ops did you do, and what was that experience like?
So on Friday, since I was the only one there, I was like, let me get a picture with Tyler because I definitely want like a selfie with him. And so I got in his line, which of course at that time was the longest, which I think the whole weekend it was probably the longest. But yeah, I got in that line. And so the way that the selfies or autographs work is they have their booth. And then you can look it up, but most of them, the selfies or autographs was $40. I know there was a couple that was $50. And so you just get in the line, VIP or regular, and then when it becomes your turn, you get to go up there. You have to bring cash. They only accept cash. So you give your cash to their handler, and then they tell you it's your turn, and you get, your 45 seconds, a minute. Tyler was being really nice. He was like spending like at least 2.5 minutes with every person, because he's just very kind and just trying to, he knows that and he knows people have been waiting. He really wants to, give them that. So it's really nice. But it was cool because I was like, hi, I'm Anne, from Hallmarkies podcast. I'm like, I'm always the one emailing you, asking you to send us an awards video, things like that. He's like, oh yeah. He was like, I know you. And he's like, I met some ladies at Rama Drama from your podcast, and now I'm meeting you. How many more ladies do I have to meet? Oh, I was like, well, there's still like a lot of people you got to meet. I was like, yeah, 2 more coming tomorrow. He's like, okay. And so that was a really good experience.
Yeah.
And then I got to do on Sunday with Christopher Palaha, and that was nice because he and I have done, Zoom interviews, a few. And so, when he said he knew who I was, which was really exciting. He was like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting you in person. He's like, I know you. I said, I'm Anne. He's like, I know who you are. Okay, well, that makes me feel really good. He was just so nice, and so I was like, oh, don't worry, we will reach out for Christmas. We will be doing an interview. He said, oh, it's a different one. I said, oh, we already know. Well, Hallmarkies already know all the inside information about anything that's been put out, about people who've already recorded movies. So, the selfies are like $40, but you can do the photo ops, which is like with the Christmas con background and like a flash photography camera. And those are usually more like $60 or $80. So it just depends, what you want to do. Selfies are definitely cheaper, and so it just depends.
And that's I would say that's pretty standard con prices. Like if you go into FanX or Comic-Con or whatever, D23 doesn't do photo ops, but that kind of an event, I think that's pretty normal prices. I'd say. So that's good. All right. Well, then we had, so Jax, you were leading the panels because you were everyone's favorite fangirl. So what was that like for you? So you knew, okay, I have these people. Did you have like bullet points ahead of time, or did you just wing it, or how did it work?
I would love to say I winged it. But no, you guys.
I mean, I couldn't wing it, but you're a pro, so.
Oh, well. I put a lot of time into it beforehand. Yeah. I did a lot of research, and then here's the thing. I've done it before, and when I've done it before, I've made like note cards, and I realized they just make me more nervous. It's just better if I like memorize everything. It's so funny what you said, Rachel, about Barbara Eden. Exact same for me, because it was like the thing to tell my family and friends who aren't in this fandom, like, well, Dream of Jeannie, that's I'm gonna be hanging out with her. The funny thing was, I felt like this was the time I've done the panels where I felt really prepared, which was great, but they basically just led themselves because everyone was so engaged and they're so good. Like you were talking about Cameron Matheson, he's a host. Jonathan Bennett's a host. Like I think the best thing that I did on the panel was like get out of people's way to just like do their thing. And that's, I think, what was fun was that it felt like a conversation, and it was really fun. A really zany moment was with Paul Green when Ruth sent the video to our wonderful tech guy, Jason, of him and Rachel Boston when they were filming their movie together, doing the scene from Crazy Stupid Love that's from Dirty Dancing, when they do the lift, and he like took his shirt off in the video and everyone was screaming, and he's there like watching himself do it. And I was like, this is just gold. The audience really, really liked it.
That's funny.
That is funny.
It was also funny because Palaha gave an answer that was, I didn't feel like it was long-winded at all. It was just a thorough explanation. And Paul ripped on him for being long-winded. And I was like, Paul, baby boy, you like to talk. And when I introduced Paul, I think I told you this already, Rachel, but when I think I actually told Megan and Ann too, when I was introducing Paul Campbell and Paul Green run the same panel. And as you guys know, because you're tight with Paul Campbell, he does so much. Like, he's a writer, he's an actor, he's multi-talented. So that is how I introduced Paul Campbell. I said, and please welcome to the stage, the multi-talented Paul. As I'm saying Campbell, Paul Green comes walking out. And I said, Paul Green, of course you thought I meant you because I said multi-talented, which you are, but I'm talking about Paul Campbell. So funny. Like, he was just making me laugh so hard. Killing the game.
That's really funny that he did
that. I love that man.
Yeah. Yeah, I only got to be part of one panel because I was, like I said, behind the scenes the whole time. But it was fun, and it was funny, particularly when Jonathan Bennett stormed off about not getting to do any movies abroad, like Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey really had a long list.
Yeah,
amazing places.
And I think she's like in some great place right now because she just went to film her movie.
Yeah.
It's probably like, Greece or something.
She's like Bruges and Hawaii.
Actually, Rachel, I think she in Western Utah.
Oh, really?
Which is a great place.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, that's funny.
I might be wrong. Actually, someone correct me. I don't know for sure.
I think I saw Wes. It looked like Utah, where he was. The picture he posted. Not that I know what Utah mountains really look like, but to me, it looked like
them some restaurant recommendations or whatever. But it was fun because Plaha didn't do the red carpet, but we were talking and kind of reminiscing about the very first interview that I ever did with him, and it made me feel good that he remembered because it was pretty memorable because we had been going back and forth to try to get an interview. And I was feeling brave, and this is when I was just starting. So I'm more confident now, but, and I said, what are you doing right now? Like right this very moment. And he was like, I'm available. And so he was he was filming a movie. So he was I think he was in Toronto at a hotel in Toronto, and he just got online and we recorded the interview.
That's so smart, Rachel, because I think a lot of times it's not the time that it takes to do it. It's the having to schedule it in, and that takes even more brain space. That's like a bold and really smart move.
Yeah, I think maybe I think it would benefited the fact that I was young in my podcasting years, because what do you got to lose,
That's right.
So then we finished the day, and then Anne and we went to dinner, and then we watched The Wedding Season on Netflix. And it was pretty fun. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it's really cute. I think Hallmarkies, would enjoy it. And I mean, they just have so many beautiful like saris and suits, and I'm not sure what you call the male Indian outfit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had just beautiful outfits, and so many because they're going to all these weddings, but they're just so beautiful. It's one of the favorite parts is to see that part.
The movie has 14 Indian weddings in it that they attend. And so that was amazing to watch. And they had good chemistry. The guy is very dreamy.
Yes, he's very cute.
I mean, she's gorgeous too, but but they were good. She was a little whiny for me at points. That would be my only but I still thought it was overall romantic, funny. And there are some terrible rom-coms on Netflix. We all know this. But this one was pretty good. It was a good one, so we recommend it. It was fun it'd be a fun movie in general to watch with like your girlfriends.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Well, you guys have to tell the listeners why you had to watch the Netflix, because our hotel room didn't have the Hallmark channel.
That is true.
Yeah.
That was great.
Religious.
I was like, are you serious? They don't have a Hallmark channel?
Like, this is our job, people.
Like,
yeah, we were like
Yeah, I was like, we should have stayed at the Sheraton.
But then you realize the food there was terrible. So.
Yeah.
But did you have the Hallmark Channel?
Yes.
I'm filing a complaint to Hilton immediately.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah. And because we could have watched what was
Love in the Limelight.
oh yeah. Which
I
I
was
didn't.
so looking forward to watching.
Yeah.
Which
really
I watched
good.
the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I was like, oh, it'll be so fun to like watch a Hallmark movie together. And then I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so far, I mean, the movies I've seen in August, not to spoil our August recap, but they've been pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was fun. So then Sunday was, I mean, I didn't even go in the show floor at all. I didn't go to a single panel. I was just in the back with my podcast equipment, and we ended up, because I think Jesse saw us there with like my mic and everything, and he had seen us. Jesse Metcalf had seen us the day before, and I asked him for restaurant recommendations, which was kind of surreal. I'm like, him and his table. I'm like, doesn't even know where to go. But his rep came up to us and was like, Jesse would like to be on the podcast, and we've never interviewed him, so that was really cool. And he sat down, and if people have seen the interview that we posted, that's the whole interview, but it was over 5 minutes, and I felt like we covered a lot of ground with him. So that was really fun.
He said the sweetest thing about the wedding movie that we love with Autumn Reeser. Now I'm forgetting the name.
Country Wedding.
Country Wedding. He like recited. He like talked about the ending scene, and I was so impressed because I listened to other like actor and actress podcasts. Like I listened to the one with the OC with Rachel Bilson, and she can't remember anything. Like she doesn't remember anything her character does or any of the scenes. But Jesse like remembered and I didn't look up how old the movie was, but it's been a while, and I was really impressed that he remembered.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess because he's in love with Autumn.
Yeah,
and because that ending
to our
that ending was so good.
Yeah,
it is. I was
favorite things. Oh well, yeah, that's got to be an interesting podcast if she doesn't remember anything. Like, what's the point?
Well, they like rewatch the show, and then but yeah, she doesn't remember like where her character, and I mean, I think that was longer ago than Country Wedding, but I've heard that with actors and actresses that sometimes they don't remember like the scenes that they've done.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you, Jax?
Unfortunately, I've never been a series regular on a TV show that if I had like that many episodes under my belt, but and I've done mostly theater. So like I do it so many times that like I basically can't forget it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's really funny that what I've noticed about this fandom and I love is that like the fans will know the movies way better than the actors and actresses themselves. You know what I mean? And it's funny. It'll be like, no, you did 8 of those. Or no, that's who was in this with you. Actually, that happened on the thing with Barbara Eden. Someone asked her how she liked working with, I forget what actor. And she's like, I've never worked with him. And he said, oh, yes, you did. And blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, darling, I forgot that. Yes. Okay. Tell me more. It was so adorable.
Yeah. So then it was really fun. Melissa Claire Egan, I haven't posted any, or we did on Insta story, but I haven't posted more than that. But she told the people at the Christmas con, who were so great to work with, by the way, were wonderful. She told that she particularly wanted to talk with us, and so that was really fun for her to come up on Sunday. And it made me feel like we're actually kind of got stuff done on Sunday because it was an interesting day. But we'll definitely have her on the podcast. I hope she gets to do another Christmas movie. She said it's hard because just the soap schedule is so demanding.
God, she was so good in Holiday for Heroes. She needs to do another one. Like I'm almost annoyed that they got to work around her schedule. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they had the marketplace, and you had a table there, a booth there for bundle game.
I did. I spent like probably 18 minutes there.
The whole time we were waiting for you, that was
yes, when I saw you guys.
One guy.
So
what I thought later, I was like, we could have helped Jax with her booth. We could have.
you guys are
Yeah,
so
we
sweet.
could
been
have
there.
next time.
But the
It
thing
occurred to me until I left to help you, but
no, but
after
the
I
thing
left,
is,
I was like, I could have done that.
you guys were so busy too. I feel like we needed basically we need everyone from the Hallmarkies podcast roster to be on deck so we can all like take breaks and turns and things.
That's true. That's true.
Well, so Brand told me that I guess they made the booths complimentary, which shocked me because usually expos and those kind of things are super expensive. So I didn't even like explore the idea of having a booth because I just assumed it was going to be super expensive. So maybe next time, who knows? We could have some merch. But it was fun to get to see Bran and Alonzo, who were running their booth. And then Neil Bledsoe was there, which was hilarious.
That was so funny because I saw him like on Friday and I was like, wait a second. I was like, I know that's Neil Bledsoe. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's not like on the website, like as being someone here. And I was like, what?
Did you like on the video that I wrote photo bombing?
Yeah. I like that.
He helped with trivia that Alonzo and Danica hosted, and they did an amazing job. And Neil was helping them host. That dude is so funny.
Yeah, he's very funny.
He seems very fun.
I'm like, why didn't he have a booth? He's more famous than some of the other people that got booths, photo booths.
He should have. Danica went to bat for him, and I just love their friendship and their working relationship. I just think they're awesome together.
Yeah, it was funny. I bought some ornaments. It was pretty cool. So they had from Dr. Christmas, actually, they had, I think, 2 for 1 ornaments. And I don't know if that was just a Sunday thing or what, but of these flower ornaments. And I have a blue and silver tree. And so I got kind of blue-ish colors. And he was like, I'll give you 3 for 1. So that was exciting. And then they give me a whole nother thing of smaller ones for free. So that was very exciting.
Dr. Christmas coming in hot here.
I know. I love a deal. And did anybody else buy anything? Did you all? What would you buy, Megan?
Yeah, I bought these little soaps. So I missed my mother-in-law's birthday because we were at the con. So I bought her a little birthday gift, and they're like soaps in like a pretty box with like, it was like hand glittered, and then a card that was like hand glittered. It was really pretty. She liked them. I gave them to her the other day. I forget what the shop was called, but it was good.
Well, and I would have bought a bundle game, but I already have the Christmas bundle game, Jax, and I brought it with us to play.
That's
so
true. She did. Well,
you're already a supporter.
Yes, that's right. But Anne, did you get anything on the floor on the marketplace?
I didn't end up buying anything. No.
Yeah, it was fairly sparse, and I mean, I know we're not supposed to criticize the con, but like we can criticize Hallmark because why did they not have a booth there? Especially if it's free. What do you have to lose? Yeah. And I know they have a booth because they're at D23. They have a Hallmark ornament booth at D23. I bought items from it. So why not just set up that booth?
Yeah. I mean, that would do so well. I mean,
yeah, you could sell
Hallmark store booth. Yeah.
You could sell so many ornaments and so many DVDs.
Oh, so many DVDs and so many ornaments and so many mugs and, blankets and shirts and socks. I mean, they would just sell out of everything. I mean, yeah.
So, Hallmark, if you're listening.
Love to see you at the next one.
Yeah, that's right.
Get yourself on down to Jersey. Up to
Jersey. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting there to be like Hallmark publishing booth that would have sold out too.
Mm-hmm.
Hallmark ornaments, Hallmark. It should have just been like there
should literally be like a little Hallmark world of just all their, merch and books and DVDs and
Yeah.
ornaments and
Like I said, they have a whole booth that they have at D23 that I'm sure I'm going to see in the next month. So it's there. I know they have it.
Well, and it's interesting too because at Christmas Con 2019 in Jersey, which I know was obviously a long time ago at this point, they weren't selling anything and it wasn't a booth, but they had like an activation where they were giving out hot chocolate and you could like sit on like Hallmark pillows and a couch and like get your photo taken in like a Hallmark snow globe.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's interesting that they didn't have either a booth or something like that to sort of represent.
Yeah. So we did have some merch though, our own merch, because we had our 5-year, 5 Jolly Years shirt and that we wore. And that was really fun. Jessica Miller, the designer, you can get them on our merch store at tpublic.com /Hallmarkies. And that was just so fun. I mean, it's kind of surreal for me to think of I don't know, just it like so few times in life do you like get to create something, you know? And here it's like we had the three of us there covering, they're doing the red carpet, and 5 years. 5 years.
It's amazing.
Did you ever think that, Rachel, when you started it, that it would be like it's like older than a toddler now? It's like a child.
It is my toddler. In fact, this week is the week, at least here in Utah, that everyone's posting their kids and the like, with the 5-year, kindergarten, whatever.
Yeah.
And I always post my podcast babies.
That's adorable. Sorry, I just screamed that. That's adorable.
Yeah, for Rachel's reviews and for Hallmarkies podcast. No, I mean, I am pretty like once I set my mind to something, I don't give up easy. So there were times when I probably could have, especially when before we kind of developed this sort of format of having all the co-hosts and it was just me. There was the 2018 Christmas season was challenging.
Bless your heart, right?
Because because Amber was sick a lot, so she was unreliable. She was doing the best she could. She's amazing. But that's how I started always having a guest, was because we would get to the day and she'd have a migraine or something would happen and I'd be left like, oh crap, what are we going to do? And so usually I would be like, Ruth, help me, or something like that. And, or Lisa at the time. Lisa was really great. Casey was really great. Then, and Caroline was great then. Anyway, but I just always would have I developed during that time, always would have a third. Amy was really great then. And then that next winter, I was just like, I need help. And that's when we added, like basically full-time co-hosts, Amy and Casey, I think we're the first, and Lisa, I think we're the first to start. And then it just kind of ebbed and flowed and people came and went. And I just felt so grateful to anybody who gives of their time to help, to help me in my dreams. I just think it's amazing. But that was definitely the hardest time, as hard as it can be sometimes to kind of manage everything, get everything together. It was way harder just carrying it all on my back.
Yeah. But thanks for doing it, because now we can reap the benefits of it with you.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. I mean, I guess as we kind of close this off, 5-year anniversary of the pod, I thought we'd just talk a little bit about it. So make sure everybody watches or listens to our episode that me and Amber did, because our very first episode of the podcast that we ever did was over on my channel. We did our top 12 Christmas Hallmark Christmas movies, and at the time I actually hadn't seen that many. I just knew I kind of liked the genre, but I hadn't seen that many. And so Amber's list, I was like, oh, I've never heard of that one. I've never heard of that one. I've never heard of that one. And so I wanted to revisit it for a long time, and this just seemed like the perfect moment, and it was fun to sort of wax nostalgic with Amber, and to give our new lists. So I'm really proud of the episode. I think it's really good. But yeah, 5 years, and I'm just so grateful because I've interviewed over 350 people for this podcast alone.
Oh my gosh.
Which is amazing.
That's amazing.
That's wild, Rachel.
Yeah. So there's so many memories. I mean, that one with Christopher Plaha is one of my most memorable. The very first time that we interviewed Paul Campbell, that's very memorable because Amber was freaking out. She was so excited. Interviewing Fran Drescher, that was definitely a highlight. I've been able to interview her twice. And it was just surreal to be able to, just because the nanny meant a lot to me. And it's definitely been something throughout my life. It's always, since I was in high school, that's always been able to make me laugh. And when I'm having a bad day, I'll turn on the nanny. So it was great to be able to kind of share that with her and tell her. And that's very memorable. People always ask, what's your favorite interviews? And it's so hard because people are giving up their time, and like, so I really do enjoy talking with people and hearing what they have to say and getting to know them. Anytime you have Nikki DeLoach on, that's always a joy. I always need to get out my journal after and start writing because she makes me say all these deep thoughts,
Yeah.
But Anne, you've been able to be on some interviews and some things. Do you have anything that comes to mind since you've been highlight?
I just think that the Hallmark family, the Hallmark community is so special because like how many people, like the actors, the people that they love are like this amazing. It's like almost like, it's like, there's always like, you have a bar in your mind and it's like, how can this bar like almost always be surpassed? Like your expectation. It's just like every person that I've gotten to talk to is just so kind and so nice and has, and I love talking to, Christopher Plaha. I've loved talking to Robert Buckley. I mean, just people are just so kind and so nice and just genuine. And I just feel so lucky that we love these people who are so wonderful. It's a special thing.
Yeah, they really are very accessible for talent. I don't know any, even with the nanny. I mean, we interviewed Fran, but that was because of the Lifetime movie. And then after that, we interviewed for the nanny. But I've tried. I haven't been able to get anybody else from the nanny on. I've tried a bunch of people. There's just something special about the Christmas movie people.
Really, it's just something about people who like making these movies. They just have some kind of special, like, just sweet heart. I don't know. Yeah.
And one thing I take a lot of pride in is I feel like in general, the Hallmarkies fandom is very aware of the writers, and they'll be like, this is Julie Sherman Wolfe, or this is Nina Wyman, or this is these great Tracy Ann Dreen, these great writers. And I feel like we deserve a lot of credit for that. Like, I mean, our very first interview that we ever had was Nina Wyman. We've had her on 8 times. We've had Julie on a bunch of times. And I feel like we have promoted the writers almost maybe even more so than the actors. And
Rachel, that belongs to you. Okay. I didn't even know what writing was and how it affected a movie until I joined this podcast. So writers might not like you for that because sometimes I blame them now. I'm just saying, I learned so much from you about all the behind the scenes and how much, work and just effort and just how much, goes into this with, the writing, just all the different things. And I think you deserve so much credit for just promoting them and helping us, educating us to become aware of how much they affect everything, these movies that we love.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I so admire. I think maybe it helps. My sister's a writer, and so I see not a screenwriter, but her first book is actually coming out tomorrow.
Oh,
very exciting. Haven. I mean, she's had graphic novel, she's had picture books, but this is her first novel. called Haven by Megan Wagner Lloyd. I'll put a link, Amazon affiliate link. But yeah, I'm really super proud of her. But yeah, I mean, I just think the writers are just incredible. And for me, even outside of Hallmark, it always comes down to the story.
Yeah.
And you can have, I was just talking at the HCA with a friend, and he was saying, oh, but it had such great cinematography, and it had such, and I'm like, that can only take you so far. You got to have a great story.
Yeah. It really comes down to the story. I mean, really. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've had so many great writers on. I mean, Topher Payne, Anna White, like I said, Nina, just everybody that we've had has been really, really fun. And so anyway, that's something I take a lot of pride in. So I appreciate you saying that, Anne. And
I mean it.
Thank you.
Really do.
And I've also thought it was really fun us doing the rankings with the talent. That was a little bit of a leap of faith. I mean, I'm like, are we pushing this too far? But yeah, I mean, that's been very fun. I mean, we just had one with Nina, who you got to be on, Megan, which that was fun.
That was so much fun. Yeah, it was. It's so fun to hear why they love the movie.
Yeah,
and it's oftentimes different than why we loved the movie. So, and they always have fun behind the scenes stories, and
yeah. And really Jack, you were on one with Christopher Russell. That was fun.
Blast.
That was really, really fun.
Yeah, he's so funny.
That was I think a funny moment when I asked him, how does it feel to be so tall?
I died laughing. I was like, inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. And then you were on for Cindy Busby too, right?
Yes. And they had the movies that overlap. So it was fun because my ranking changed within that. I was like, wait, how does this work? Rachel, one of my favorite Hallmarkies podcasts will always be 2 words, Snake Draft.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Yes, we are terrible at Snake Draft.
We don't get better. We don't get better at it. That's fine.
What is that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we used to do this trope draft where you had all the different tropes, and Jackson Shaw were on it with Amber and I think Caroline, and you're supposed to start at the beginning, and then the person at the end goes twice, and then it goes around. Anyway, we got very confused by the Snake Draft.
I mean, like, we thought we were better the second year, and then we realized we were still confused. And I was like, this is just how it's meant to be.
Well, it's just so hard to keep up with, right? Like with the tropes and everything. That like 40. I mean, and depending if you're doing Lifetime too, that's so much.
Yeah, that's true. It was hard to keep up once we did it.
Like, okay, this trope that I can't even imagine one movie. Let alone like all these movies trying to like tally everything.
Yeah. Oh well, Rachel did all that work. So I just meant it was hard for me to get the concept of the snake draft, but Rachel did all the hard work.
Well, before we go, one of the interesting things in the last 2 years has been us covering a lot more television. I mean, we do TV movies, of course, but I've always been a movie person more than a TV person. Amber was much more the TV person, but every time we would do anything with Heartland, it would do so well to this day. I mean, even we had River on just recently, who hasn't been on the show for 2 seasons, and it's still his interview did great, and rightfully so, because he's absolutely charming. But every time we do anything with Heartland, it is gangbusters. It does so well, and so I was like, we really should cover the show. But it's intimidating when at that time it had 14 seasons, and the 13, and they'd posted 13 seasons, but by the time there's a pandemic, and so I was just like, that's so intimidating. But I talked to Michelle over in Scotland, and she was up for it, and it was the pandemic, so everyone had all the time in the world, and so we started. And we just barely, this week, we will catch up we'll be starting season 14.
Oh,
so we will have caught up.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, that's good. It's like you made it right to the, to the point now.
And so now we just have 14 to cover, 15 to cover, and then the new season will start. And we might be like about there when they actually start the new season. We'll see. But anyway, so that's been a great experience. I love podcasting with Michelle. She's just absolutely great. And we've had a great time together. We got to interview Amber Marshall twice, which has been great. We talked to a bunch of other people in the Heartland cast, and so that's been fun. And then we also had the great experience of covering Sex and the City, which, as a podcaster, you want to try to find ways to grow your audience. And I feel like we've kind of reached just about everybody in like the Hallmark space that's interested in listening to a podcast. That's why I'd want to try to make some YouTube videos and stuff too. But I heard about this and just like that, I was like, that could be fun and maybe reach like a new audience. And it was, of course, starting during Christmas time. And so I was like, who out of sort of the co-host grouping would be up for that? Because, it's a lot of more conservative people. And I was also getting really tired of people kind of babying me about content and, saying, oh, well, Rachel won't, she won't cover that. She won't do that. Or, and I'm like, I'm not a child. Like I cover already content in the past and have, so that was annoying me too. So I kind of wanted to push back on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I reached out to Jax and you were totally up for it. I mean, what did you think when I first brought up the idea? Were you kind of like, a little nervous or?
I mostly wanted to just hang out with you more. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And also I've never watched Sex and the City in like order like that. So I thought it would just be so fun to do it with you. And it's been such a blast.
Well, we had such a good time covering and just like that it was actually kind of a nice break from like Christmas to have like one thing a week that we were talking
it's not
about.
Christmas.
Yeah. Because December is insane for me because not only am I covering all the Christmas movies, but I'm also covering all the Oscar movies because for the voting bodies that I'm a member of, the critics associations, I have to have all of the major Oscar contenders watched. Otherwise, that's lame. Like if I vote for something and I haven't watched the movies, like that's not right. So I have to watch all these Oscar movies, and it's like the weirdest thing. I'm watching like a movie like Mass, which is about a mass shooting. Watching that and then flipping over to like Reba McEntire and Christmas. This is such a weird life that I live.
That is only Rachel's life. Yeah.
Yeah.
A Reba McEntire. I want that to be my life. At least just Reba McEntire.
Yeah. So anyway, but it was, so I thought, can I do this? But it ended up being something I would look forward to and still to this day look forward to. But I'm just so happy about the whole thing. I mean, we've had such a great time, but also it's just, we've had such a good response to it that makes me really happy.
No one's going to baby you anymore, Rachel.
Yeah.
No one's going to put Rachel in the corner.
Just a couple of weeks ago, our Sex and the City episode recap won the week out of everything for Hallmarkies podcast. Wow. So that made me really excited. Cool. And Megan, did you find us through our, had you already been listening or did you find us through?
Yeah, no, I had already listened.
Pod? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I already listened to the Hallmark portion. And then I was excited for And Just Like That. And then you guys, and the rest. I was obsessed with the city back in the day. So.
Well, yeah, and so you reached out to me, and we started chatting on Twitter, and then you came on the show. That was super fun, and then we had, because Casey and Carrie were kind of taking a lighter load, and so I invited you and Jasmine on right around the same time. And they've both been absolutely great. So, yeah, I just feel, and every person that, people might not know this, but like I'm a spiritual person, and every person that I have had on the podcast, it might sound cheesy, but I have prayed about it every time. And I've always felt guided to people. So I just feel so blessed to have the podcast and have all of you and and I'm just so excited to see it keep growing. And yeah, I guess that's all I was
Rachel,
gonna
thank
say.
you. I'm so grateful that you took me in when I didn't have a home, and you've continued to give me a home. So thank you.
Well, literally as soon as like the ink dried, I was like, Jax, I literally think I messaged you that night.
I was like, yes, I'll do it. Wait, I don't even know what it is, but yes.
Well, and at first I was like, you don't even have to be like an official member. We just want to use you and have you. And then I was so excited once just a couple months ago that we're like, you actually put you on the cover and everything.
I feel
and
so lucky.
cover art.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love Hallmarkies podcast. It's my whole life. That and being a film critic, and I love it. So thank you to all of you, and it was so fun. Christmas Con was great. And thank you to everybody at Christmas Con. They were so good to us.
Yes, all the staff were so great.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing.
Yeah, and
it was very well organized.
It was very well organized, and just all the talent were so friendly, so nice. I mean, like we got to meet Alicia Witt, we got to Brendan Elliott. That was fun to talk to him. It was just a great group. So, all right, I think that's everything. Let us know what you think of all the things we talked about in the comment section. If you'd like us to do more of these live streams, let us know. And if you go over to my channel on Rachel's Reviews, you can hear a little bit more about some of the shenanigans that Megan and I got into after. And the stingrays.
Lots of shenanigans, a few stings.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And we'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.